Angry guy here. And remember when three white girls held down the 90s? I know, guys, that I'm not the only one who remembers the 90s and how awesome the 90s were when it came to some television shows. Y'all remember One Saturday Morning? Y'all remember how awesome One Saturday Morning was? I mean, it was absolutely lit. There were so many iconic experiences for us in the 90s, so many classic television shows. But one thing that we often overlook is the fact that three white girls held down the 90s. Who are these girls I speak of? They are none other than Topanga from Boy Meets World, Kelly from Saved by the Bell, and Kimberly from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Three white girls held down the entirety of the 90s. All of us were watching Saved by the Bell back in the 90s, and we all had a crush on Tiffany Amber Thiessen. It was all about Kelly back then. Do you remember that? Coming home after school to watch Kelly, she literally nailed the girl next door look. She was everything that a dude could want. And one of the craziest things is that she is now the actress Tiffany Amber Thiessen is now in her 50s, and she is still rocking out in her 50s. Like, she looks that smashingly good in her 50s. I'm telling y'all, it's like you go back and you look at the 90s and you look at what we had, and we had girls that were more relatable. Yes, for example, check out this picture right here. This is a picture of Kelly, the one in the bathing suit, and it's interesting because you know she's she's it says Kapowski, that was her name, and she definitely was gorgeous. But if you notice, while she's very attractive, she's not dressed like the modern day three to the O to the four. These modern day three O's are just terrible. It's not attractive. It's not sexy. It's just disgusting and degeneracy. I mean, look how beautiful Kelly was. Look how gorgeous Kelly was. Oh my gosh. Okay. I mean, she held down the 90s hard. She held down the 90s hard. And then, of course, we cannot forget about Topanga. Topanga was no joke. Topanga was no joke. Here's Topanga. And she had those kissable lips, beautiful hair, mischievous look. I mean, Topanga was, again, girl next door. There was something exotic about Topanga. Like, Topanga's a white girl, but there is something exotic. If they told you, if you were told that Topanga was Brazilian, everyone would have believed it. Okay? Topanga was Bay. Topanga was Bay. Okay? If there's one thing that pretty much everyone can agree on, doesn't matter who you are, where you came from, what community you came from, Topanga was Bay. And she's just another one of the white girls who held down the 90s. And she had that glow, She was never thotty. Never, never, never a thotty whatsoever. Like, this is what we had back in the 90s. Can you imagine this? Look how these women dressed back in the 90s. Not showing off tons of skin, no insane amounts of cleavage. Like, this is what women looked like back in the 90s. It's unbelievable. It's like we can never go back, but my gosh, look at what children used to dress like. Look at how kids used to dress. Okay? Completely cover it up. And we actually had fashion back then. Like, these scumbags today, they all think they're freaking celebrities. They're not. They're just a bunch of losers. Gen Z and the Gen Zidiots and Gen Alpha. Like, many of these people will never even ever hold a job, an actual job. I mean, my gosh, like, look at these people from the 90s. Look how gorgeous Topanga is. You know, like this is the kind of woman that men want even today. Men desire. Look at her. Even years later, look how she still dresses. No crazy amounts of no cleavage at all. Dressed really, really nice. This is a woman that could have existed in the 90s or even in the 50s. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay? Even here, look at this outfit. She's trying to look, sex. Guys, this is what lingerie looked like in the 90s. Like, look at this. Look at this. Like, come on. This is, I'm telling y'all, we've lost so much. We've lost so much. Modern day women cannot compare to this. Okay? 3 white girls held down the 90s. 3 white girls held that down, held it down, and held it down hard. And of course, we can't go any further without discussing Kimberly from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I mean, my gosh, look at Kimberly. Okay, Amy Jo Johnson. All right, always kissing. Like Tommy was always kissing on her in the juice bar. Y'all remember that? Rest in peace, Jason David Frank. My gosh. Gosh, Kimberly was bae, bro. Kimberly was bae. My gosh, oh gosh, Kimberly. And she never, guys, look at this. This is what women looked like in the 90s. All right? This is what women looked like in the 90s. Unbelievable. No thotties. No thotties allowed. Like this is as low. This is even shorts were different back then. Like I mean, gosh, it was such a much better time. Like guys, look like this is what like look at Tai Tran, like the Yellow Ranger next to her. Look how she was dressed. No excessive amounts of skin and cleavage. All right, this is like it was just better times. Look, I mean, guys, look at this picture. There's a picture over here. Again, Kimberly in shorts. Look at that. None of this, and she looked great. She was very attractive. This is incredible. Nothing like the thotties today. Guys, I'm telling you, the thotties have ruined society. All right? They're only out here for Chad and Tyrone. And then we end up picking up these leftovers, and they're telling us like we can only choose from them. Like, bro, we don't want you. We don't want you. Man, bro. Bro. It's so amazing where you have these women in Western society, and they're like, oh, if you should be able to get any baddie that you should be able to pull any baddie in America. You shouldn't have to if you're such a big bad man, if you're so big and bad, right? If you're such a high value man, you should be able to get any baddie in America. And what they don't understand is that more and more men don't want these women. They don't want to have a relationship with a woman who has a body count higher than the Doomslayer. They don't want that. Okay? They don't want these types of lifestyles. They don't want a woman who equates cooking and cleaning with forced servitude. Okay? They don't want a woman who has to use tons of makeup and fake up to hide the fact that her skin is just terrible and she needs to address certain things, or that has really bad body odor and doesn't know how to take care of her pH, and that versus a woman overseas who it doesn't matter if she's rich or poor, she smells good all the time, and she's pulling this off with just a bar of soap, water and soap. Sometimes these girls are bathing out of a bucket overseas, and they smell like roses. They smell like roses, And then you come back to Western society, and these people in Western society, it's like they're wearing all of this perfume and all of these scents, but it really can't cover up, that the foul odor underneath. And like you smell something kind of bitter. You're like, oh, that's a part of the perfume. No, that's not the perfume. That's the person. That's the person, man. Like it's trying to cover up something that smells really rancid. I remember Mayumi, she made a comment like maybe a month or so ago. And she said something like, I beseech you, men, to stop putting your seed into rancid dirt. And it's like, I think back to that comment now, and it's like it kind of just like hits differently. as I think about like just how bad the body odor is, and like just like there's just really no comparison when you compare a woman from a foreign woman to a woman in Western society. They take care of themselves much better than women in Western society. And you know what's crazy is like on a daily basis, like if a woman is not like getting fixed up, like she'll just let herself go. Like she'll just go around walking around in leggings. Like it's insane. You'll go overseas and it's just normal for a woman to, look decent, look proper, look presentable, just going about her daily life in a foreign country versus a woman in Western society is like unless they have like 100 hours to get ready and access to all of like expensive clothing and other stuff, they can't take care of themselves anymore. Like no, it's like so crazy. Like modern women cannot take care of themselves anymore. They have to have it. It costs like $1,000 to do with a woman overseas who makes $30 a week, can do flawlessly and better and better. Guys, if you're enjoying this content, help get the channel to 100,000 subscribers by subscribing to the channel if you already haven't, liking the video, and turning on notifications to never miss another video ever again. Remember when 3 white girls held down the 90s? Guys, I want to know what you think about this and everything else we discussed here today. And let me know if you want me to do more videos like this, that don't necessarily focus on, stress and all the other things happening in the world, but more so looking back at some of the iconic things. Because most of the people on this channel are Gen X, older millennials and Gen X, and, Gen Z, I don't really care for them. Like I said, if you're a decent member of the Gen Z generation, Gen Z, I don't really care for them. And if you're a decent member of the Gen Z generation, then I don't call you guys Gen Z, I call you guys Gen X2, because you've basically taken on the life lessons from Gen X and you're more of a continuation from that generation, more like the successors of Gen X versus the parasites that we have walking around, aka the Zedius. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think about everything in the comments, and we'll talk about more of it there. Again, let me know if you want to see more videos like this that kind of deviate away from the normal topics we talk about on the channel, but are still kind of relatable. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you like the video, share the video, and just remember that all roads lead to MWAM and walking away. And cheers.